First tonight at 5, where the former principal at Sun Prairie West High School is now under investigation from state education officials.
The homeless encampment at Dairy Drive on Madison's east side is set to close. Find out what will happen to those who are living there.
And we'll go to Titletown. It'll be a patchwork offensive line due to injuries for the Packers this weekend in Cleveland. Our Packers senior writer Jason Wilde gives us an update. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. And thanks for staying with us. The Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction is investigating the licenses of a former Sun Prairie West principal.
Jennifer Ploger was removed from her position amid an investigation into how allegations of child sex crimes were handled. Both Ploger's teacher and administrator's licenses have been placed under investigation. Peg Shoemaker has taken over as the school's acting principal. This follows Ploger's absence after former West Dean of Students, Robert Gilkey Meisegeyer, was charged with child sex crimes in July.
And Sun Prairie School District also doing its own investigation after that arrest. Parents and students are speaking out about the charges. News 3 Now has been covering the story since the Sun Prairie Police Department launched its investigation. Since then, parents have packed school board meetings where they have protested and spoken to the board about their issues with the district.
When I heard the news about Rob, I was not surprised, merely disappointed that this had happened yet again. In my entire time in this district, from kindergarten through 12th grade, there have been sex offenders, violence, and dysfunction in essentially every stage of school that I've attended.
You caused more concern than you sought to diminish. You caused people to assume the worst about staff members. You hid information, and you created a media frenzy that unfortunately will only get worse. It is now a national media frenzy that exists.
And we're continuing to cover what some parents say is a shattered trust between community members of the district. And tonight at 10, Tanisha Shaw has a full update on the investigation and the ways that it is impacting Sun Prairie.
Now to the forecast. Another sunny and warm day for southern Wisconsin. It's getting very dry out there. Is there any rain in the region?
Alex is on the weather patio. The latest check of radar 3000, Alex.
Yeah, it sure is on the warm side out here. Again, it is still summer, but we're in the 80s across much of the area right now. Very dry. Grass has kind of that crunchy feel, and I'm sure folks on the other side of the camera are dealing with that with their own home lawns. Let's see if we have any rain out there right now on radar 3000. Not in southern Wisconsin, at least not yet. It's still west of the Mississippi River over parts of northeast Iowa. A couple of showers and a couple of isolated thunderstorms. Putting future track into motion. A few of those showers trying to make it into far southwest Wisconsin, but they fizzle by the time we get to 8, 9 o'clock. But we do have more rain in the forecast. This isn't the only chance for rain. In fact, we have some pretty good chances for rain as we head towards the upcoming weekend. Scattered category. We're going to track the showers over the course of the next couple of days as they move east into other parts of southern Wisconsin. And then I'm going to talk about that Badger game forecast. Will we have rain around the Badger game? I'll let you know when I come back in a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Well, we now know the name of the 24-year-old man killed in a crash over the weekend at Devil's Lake State Park. The Sauk County Sheriff's Office identifying him as Jamison Rustin. Investigators say he was driving along the state park's exit road when he failed to make a turn in time, and his car left the road and hit several large trees. Rustin was found dead at the scene. 2 passengers in his vehicle were taken to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown tonight. The sheriff's office is still investigating this crash.
The Dairy Drive homeless encampment, that's on Madison's far east side, is set to close now in just 9 days.
The Madison Common Council voted 11-10 in favor of closing it down. Our Jalen Banks joins us now with what led to that decision. Jalen?
After 1 a.m. Wednesday morning, the Madison Common Council voted to close the Dairy Drive homeless encampment. This comes after a year of discussion. The Dairy Drive encampment opened in 2021 during the pandemic, and the city says the service was intended to be a 2-year project. The site was used to help those facing homelessness with shelter, as well as mental and substance abuse services. We spoke to the city earlier on why it's set to close, and they say it just simply comes down to resources.
The reason for it really has everything to do with resources. This was set up and put into use in the same way that we did a lot of things in the early months of the pandemic.
Madison Street Medicine, the organization who oversees the site, is actively working with individuals to find stable housing. And even though the site is set to close on the 26th, the contract they have with the city runs through the end of October. Tonight at 6, we'll hear from the director of the Dairy Drive site on what's next for them after its closure. For now, reporting in the newsroom, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
SSM Health is highlighting the success of its Care for Caregivers program. The initiative connects caregivers with support and resources to help reduce stress, improve their health, and find emotional balance. Recently, SSM Health received a grant from Advancing Healthier Wisconsin. It's aimed at suicide prevention training, and it uses the program HeartMath to help spot if someone is struggling with suicidal ideation.
I think as healthcare professionals, we feel like we're supposed to take care of others, and we don't necessarily want to be the ones being taken care of. And I think too, when we're looking at us as professionals, we're afraid if we admit to having mental health struggles that we might not be seen as that professional.
And the work done by the program led to SSM Health leaders joining the Wisconsin Hospital Association's Caring for Wisconsin Caregivers Steering Committee. The 5-year initiative supports healthcare organizations across the state in creating strategies to prevent suicide among the healthcare workforce.
The Federal Reserve announced the first interest rate cut of the year. Policymakers voted to lower the key interest rate 0.25 percentage point, and they signaled that 2 more cuts are likely later this year. The move is designed to keep the economy growing by making it less expensive to borrow money. The news had been widely expected and could be a mixed bag for consumers.
So if you're a borrower, you get a little bit of help. If you're a saver, you're not going to earn as much interest on those savings accounts. Try to go online to find those 3.5–4% deals.
This is the first rate cut in 9 months, even though President Trump has put pressure on the Fed to reduce borrowing costs. And
it's now more likely that interest rates for credit cards, car loans, and mortgage rates will fall. As of last week, interest rates for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage were at 6.35%, according to Freddie Mac. Reducing your interest rate by even just 1 percentage point can save you thousands, but home prices do remain high. And the latest data shows the median existing home sales price was just over $422,000 nationwide.
One can never predict when it will spike, but certainly any crash, that is out of the question given that we have historically low mortgage default rate.
So if you're in the market to buy a home, realtors recommend getting approved for a mortgage now and figuring out your budget. If you're looking to sell your home, attractive landscaping, slight repairs, and remodeling can go a long way.
Well, as the unbeaten Green Bay Packers head for Cleveland, they're a little banged up on their offensive line.
Yeah, they are. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells us who's in and who's still out against the Browns this weekend.
There could not have been a bigger difference between the affects of the 2 Packers injured offensive linemen on Wednesday. Zach Tom, their starting right tackle, who has been sidelined with an oblique injury and didn't play on Thursday, downtrodden. Asked if he thinks he could play on Sunday against the Browns, he paused and said finally, "Ask me tomorrow." Don't plan on seeing Zach Tom against the Browns on Sunday in Cleveland. At the other end of the locker room, Aaron Banks, their starting left guard, who also didn't play in last Thursday night's win over Washington, was very clear. I'm a go. I'm playing. He's ready to go. So after suffering knee and ankle injuries in the opener against the Lions, he will actually be out there, and I think the Packers are excited about that one less moving piece on their offensive line as they go up against a very good defense in the Cleveland Browns, despite their 0-2 overall record. We'll have full coverage leading up to Packers-Browns on channel3000.com for free, and we'll, of course, cover the game as well. While you're at Channel 3000, don't forget, sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers our coverage directly to your inbox for free every single day. At Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Jason, thank you again. The Packers on the road this weekend, heading to Cleveland. Kickoff of that game against the Browns set for noon.
Well, this fall, the Madison Symphony Orchestra kicks off its 100th season. To celebrate the occasion, this Friday, the orchestra is holding an opening night concert titled Pure Joy Opening Night, Magical Tchaikovsky and Maestro Dinner. It features Olga Kern, one of today's most acclaimed pianists. She'll be performing Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto No. 1 fun with the symphony under Maestro John DeMaine. The orchestra's executive director encourages everyone to come celebrate this weekend.
You don't have to know everything about every piece before you come into a symphony concert. You just have to be open to experience something that you may have never experienced before.
You can get tickets for the opening night celebration and the Symphony Orchestra's other concerts at the Overture Center website. We have a link on channel3000.com.
And still to come at 5, the former director of the CDC testifies on Capitol Hill.
And President Trump visits the United Kingdom, the new business partnership involving some of the world's largest tech companies.
And keeping pets out of the shelter, how one organization is providing for struggling pet owners. And mixed results in midweek trading on Wall Street. The Dow surging more than 260 points, but the Nasdaq loses almost 73. S&P 500 closes down about a half dozen. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
The fired former head of the CDC appeared on Capitol Hill this morning, where she had a warning for lawmakers.
The former director, Dr. Susan Minares, who was fired less than a month after her Senate confirmation, raised a red flag over what could happen to America's children if the recently overhauled Vaccine Advisory Panel proceeds with its scheduled meeting tomorrow.
Based on what I observed during my tenure, there is a real risk that recommendations could be made restricting access to vaccines for children and others in need without rigorous scientific review.
Well, she also said she believes she was fired because she would not commit in advance to approving the recommendations from the Vaccine Advisory Panel and would not dismiss career scientists without cause. An HHS spokesperson said her remarks to the Senate committee have factual inaccuracies and leave out important details.
President Trump kicked off an unprecedented second state visit to the UK with a royal welcome at Windsor Castle.
And now the trip is a mix of diplomacy and business deals, with the U.S. and UK announcing a new tech partnership. Natalie Brand with the details from the White House.
A royal charm offensive as President Trump and the First Lady arrived at Windsor Castle, joining King Charles and Queen Camilla for a carriage procession. The pomp and pageantry included 1,300 members of the British military, 120 horses, and royal bands. President Trump visited St. George's Chapel, where the royal family worships, and laid a wreath at the tomb of Queen Elizabeth II. Day one of the trip wrapped up with a state dinner. U.S. tech executives were among those in attendance following the announcement of a new U.S.-UK technology partnership focused on nuclear energy and artificial intelligence.
We have innovated, traded, and created together, fueling our economies and cultures through myriad forms of exchange.
U.S. tech giants, including Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Google, have pledged more than $40 billion in investments.
A lot of great investments that are going to come into the U.S. economy, create jobs here in our country, while simultaneously contributing to the national security of both countries.
But not everyone in the UK is embracing the relationship. Demonstrators gathered outside Windsor Castle ahead of the president's arrival.
Trump doesn't represent Britain, doesn't represent our values.
Tuesday, 4 people were arrested after an old picture of Trump and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was projected on the royal residence. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, temperatures have been above normal, but will the stretch of 80s continue?
Alex, how long will our good luck last?
Well, look right here on the left, 84 for Thursday, and then the temperatures drop, but we're still going to stay those temperatures up near 80 degrees going out into next week. That first day of fall is on Monday the 22nd, and there's Monday, highs up still right around 80 degrees. But that 84 just goes to show you how unbelievably warm these temperatures are for this time of year. 83 Madison, 82 Janesville, 86 I'm sweating in the Dells right now, and 85 in Lone Rock, 83 in Bosqueville. A little bit cooler off to the west, but that's because they have some rain shower activity out to the west, just west of the Mississippi River, Decorah, Waterloo, Prairie du Chien, kind of teasing us here. This is the pattern the past few days that water has been out to the west, and as we put future track into motion, 7:30, maybe one of those showers crosses the Mississippi River and snags areas up towards Camp Douglas, but they fizzle. We go into Thursday morning, those showers, those storms, they stay mostly off towards the west. As we get into the the afternoon and evening hours. Again, generally staying west of Madison for the best chances for rain for Thursday at 6 o'clock. But finally, as we get into Friday, this weather system that's spinning out to the west makes it into the western part of the area for 6 o'clock in the morning. Could have some rumblers tomorrow or Friday morning out towards Richland Center, Boscobel, Viroqua, La Crosse, west of Madison. Those showers and a couple thunderstorms, they get a little bit closer, and there we go. By the time we get a little bit later Friday, that's when that rain chance gets as far east as the Dells to Madison down to Janesville, and then we will have that continuation of those scattered showers, couple thunderstorms Saturday night, Sunday, perhaps lasting into Monday as well. At 6, we'll track those shower and thunderstorm chances using Future Track going a little bit further into the weekend. But we will let you know about that Badger game forecast in just a moment. We could use the water. It's September 17th, and we're already an inch below normal, 1.17 inches below normal here for the month in Madison. And for the year, we're down just a little bit over 0.6. So we could use those drops. Already getting reports it's dry out, Alex. When are we going to get some rain? Well, the rain's not going to make it till much of the year until Friday. Tonight, though, 61, low to mid 60s again. Those few showers and thunderstorms kind of teasing the west part of southern Wisconsin. As we go into the morning hours, expect a little bit of that patchy dense fog. We can't forget about that across southern Wisconsin. You might be up high in a hill and then get down into a ravine and get into that dense fog. So just take it easy. Perhaps a little bit more widespread dense fog as we go into Friday morning, according to our Future Track visibility model. High temperatures, again, that's that last day well into the 80s. We'll do 84 as a common number across southern Wisconsin. And then our temperatures cool just a bit as we head into the weekend going out into next week. But I'd say cool here in quotes because those temperatures are still above normal. Badger game on Saturday. What's that shaping to be like? You might want to bring an umbrella. Not expecting a washout on Saturday, but we do want you to be prepared that we may have to dodge a shower or two or maybe a rumble of thunder. Temperatures at kickoff at 72 and getting up to 75 after we win the game. And a photo here from Waniwak. Lori sending us this pretty sunrise photo. If you scan that QR code right now, you can send your photos to me and the First One Weather team, and we'll get them on air. What a pretty one there.
Oh, that's a beaut. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Alex. And ahead at 5, keeping pets out of the shelter. We'll tell you how one organization is helping owners in need.
At 5, moving forward.
Well, the cost of owning a pet can easily top $1,000 a year when you include the food and the vet bills. Around the country, a lot of people who can't keep up with their bills decide to put their pets in shelters where their future is far from certain. Christian Benavides reports on a Florida organization trying to keep that from happening.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida resident Kathleen Ortega is homebound because of a disability. To care for her cat Selena, she counts on volunteers like Sylvia Druitt, who regularly visits her home.
There you go.
On a hot September day in South Florida, that meant bringing cat litter and food up a flight of stairs. Druitt decided to volunteer for the Pet Project for Pets after the organization helped when Druitt experienced hard times.
For the people, for the pets, it's life-changing for me. I feel like every day, I got a purpose to go out and help somebody else.
The goal is to help pet owners so their furry loved ones can stay out of the shelter system. Sue Martino is the executive director.
The shelters are overcrowded. Animals are being euthanized because there's no room.
The nonprofit started in 2002, helping people living with HIV/AIDS care for their pets. It has expanded its services since then. Now the group hands out up to 15 tons of food each month.
The people barely have food for themselves, and they prefer to feed an animal before they feed themselves.
The organization runs on donations, grants, and volunteers who help run this thrift store. All the money raised here goes to help pet families in need. The store offers discounted prices on pet items as well as furniture and even TVs. Ortega is grateful. Without the help, she says she wouldn't know how to care for Selena.
You treat your animal like if it's a kid. It has needs, and it's expensive. It's like taking care of a kid.
The organization ensures families of all kinds stay intact. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Fort Lauderdale.
And Alex is back. Final check of the forecast after a short break.
people to maintain friendships in divided times while on opposite ends of the political spectrum. We revisit two friends who are making it work.
And monkey see, monkey do. The other link we've found that connects us and our primate cousins that isn't just shared DNA. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Coming up at 6, we'll have continuing coverage after the Madison Common Council does not extend the contract for a homeless encampment on Dairy Drive on Madison's east side. We'll have the story and more at the top of the hour at 6.
And finally tonight, people in Iowa are celebrating one special Gnomes Day. Monday was Elwood's 15th birthday. He is the world's largest concrete gnome, standing at 15 feet tall. He was constructed at the Ryman Gardens for Iowa State University, but he was actually sculpted up in Wausau.
Elwood was built to be the world's largest gnome, but during the construction process, it was revealed there is actually a taller one. You knew that was going to happen in Poland. I was going to say in Mount Horeb, but no, it's in Poland.
So those are trolls.
Yeah, that's right. He simply became the world's largest concrete gnome. He's the largest concrete one.
What a mistake, though. You can't make that mistake.
Yeah.
If you're going to build the gnome, you got to make sure there's no taller ones in other parts of the world. But anyway, happy birthday to Elwood. Enjoy. Final check of the forecast.
Yeah, temperatures in the 80s one more day, mid-80s, I should say. Then our temperatures are going to drop just a smidge here, and we're going to get that rain that's out west slowly to work its way into southern Wisconsin. But not tonight. Everyone stays pretty much dry. A little bit of patchy fog, lows around 60 degrees. We'll do the low to mid-80s again. Those showers and storms are teasing us out to the west, but they will finally make their way in here by the time we get later into Friday, and especially Saturday going into Sunday. Not expecting a washout Saturday and or Sunday. I don't expect the Badger game to be a washout either, but you might want to bring that umbrella.
Can't have those in the stadium, though.
Oh, you can't have those?
No. Unless they change the rules. I know you could. We'll make sure we have all the rules ready for fans, but I don't think you can, because they don't like that rain going into the lap of the person behind you.
Yeah,
that's so
something
fun.
to cover your head at least.
Pre-game, a poncho.
Yes,
Poncho is
the poncho,
thing.
the red ones.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. The CBS Evening News is coming up next.
We'll be back in 30 minutes. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.